Let's get to the latest Golden State Warriors news. And I know we've been talking a lot about Steph Curry on Warriors Today. He's deserved it, though, because he just, in the month of April, had one of the most impressive stretches of any player in the history of offense that the NBA has ever seen. Now, Steph Curry recently said that he thinks he should win MVP. I don't think Steph Curry is going to win MVP because the Warriors as a team sit at 10th place in the Western Conference right now, and they have so much ground to make up. But I will tell you this, in the month of April, I sat back on my couch and I said, good God, Steph Curry is doing things right now that we've never seen before. Steph Curry is going off, and we here at Chat Sports came up with the Steph Curry heater meter because the dude was virtually unstoppable, and Chef Curry was straight up cooking. And why I love Steph Curry is he is a generational superstar and has influenced and impacted the game like nobody ever has before. This is a guy who's 6'3", who a lot of people can relate to, and has literally changed the way that the game of basketball is played. And for him to be doing what he's doing right now at 33 years old makes you almost sit back and think, should we start to have a different conversation of what being old is in the NBA? Because when LeBron James is 36 and Steph Curry is 33, and they're still playing at this level, it's not all just because of modern medical advances, right? I mean, these guys are just one of one, and Steph Curry in April was certainly one of one. Trying to go after his third MVP award after he won back-to-back MVPs in 2015 and 2016, and in 11 games in April, he certainly looked like he was worthy of being in that conversation. These numbers across the board, folks, stupid. I mean, absolutely stupid. Before he went ice cold against the Wizards the other night, he was averaging 40 points even. But in his last 11, no biggie, still averaging almost 39 with 6+ rebounds, 5 dimes a night. And that 47.1%, that's not from the floor. That is his shooting percentage from long range. Automatic Steph Curry. Here are the latest MVP odds for the 2021 NBA MVP. Nikola Jokic, I think he's running away with the award right now. Why is that? Because without Jamal Murray, the Nuggets haven't really missed a beat. They're 4-0 without him in the lineup. Joel Embiid at plus 340, kind of trailing Jokic there at minus 360. Steph Curry was just in 5th place a couple of days ago at 20-1. He's now at 17-1 odds. So he continues to climb up the MVP odds, followed by Giannis at 4th place at 20-1. And James Harden hasn't played for weeks and might not play until the playoffs. I think if you put money on James Harden to win MVP at 25-1, you're going to lose that money. I'm not sure why he's 5th there, but Vegas is obviously onto something right there. So my MVP right now would be Jokic. In 2nd place, it would be Embiid. Who do you think should win the NBA MVP? Get into the comments and leave a name right now. I'm going to go back through and see what you guys come up with. I'm going Jokic. What say you? Let's get to Damion Lee now. So he has entered the health and safety protocols for the Warriors and is expected to miss the next 10 to 14 days. Now, I've kind of given up on what the NBA protocols are for COVID-19 because Damion Lee is going to be out for the next close to 10 weeks. He's going to miss several games, even though he's already received the COVID-19 vaccine. That all has to do with the NBA COVID protocols. That's all because of contact tracing as well. Now, this is a bench piece for the Warriors who at times has flashed. He's been a surprise and positive story coming out of Drexel, the basketball powerhouse that is Drexel. Just kidding, you got my sarcasm there. But Damion Lee going to be out for the next 10 to 14 days. And he did send this tweet out letting people know he's okay. For those wondering, I did get the vaccine and continue to practice the proper safety protocols. Y'all be blessed and safe out there. I guess nowadays you have to let people know, hey, I was following all the rules and everything, but contact tracing, these are the NBA rules. I'm going to be out for 10 to 14 days. It is not my choice, and it's always good to err on the side of caution, especially when it comes to health. This is what Damion Lee has done this year. Rotational piece, 7, 8, 9th guy off the bench for the Warriors, 6.5 points, a little more than 3 rebounds, shooting a respectable nearly 40% from 3. It's not like the Warriors are going to tank without Damion Lee, but man, I mean, this is a team that has been hit by the injury bug over the last couple of weeks. They need all the depth that they can get, so they will certainly miss Damion Lee a little bit at least. As for their next 5 games, they're going to play against the Denver Nuggets here on Friday night. They're taking on the Kings at the Chase Center on Sunday, going to host the Dallas Mavericks on the 27th. Then they travel to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves, and then we'll round out those next 5 games with the Houston Rockets to kick off May on May 1st. So that's how things are shaking out with the Golden State Warriors in their next 5 games, currently sitting at 10th place in the Western Conference right now. And I want to ask this question to the audience out there, and we have some Dubs peeps watching right now for sure. Do you think the Warriors are going to make the playoffs? They've been right in that 9-10 range. Steph Curry did his best to try to carry them to a higher seed. They've dropped back to 10 after that loss to the Wizards the other night. If you think they're going to make the playoffs, type Y for yes or type N for no. NBA Now is brought to you by our friends at Newsbreak. So I recently moved to Dallas, Texas at the end of February because I started with Chat Sports on March 1st. And luckily, the Newsbreak app has allowed me to make a seamless transition. Why is that? Well, if you go to chatsports.com/newsbreak, you'll see why. Because on one single feed, on your iPhone or Android, you can get your local news and weather. You can get your politics, pop culture, and food. You can get your sports content as well. And basically everything that's happening from a current event standpoint, the Newsbreak app has it because it takes all of the information from all of your local news sources and plugs it in on one single feed for you. One of the other great features, if you put in your zip code, that will allow you to stay up to date with everything happening right in your neighborhood, hyper locally. So download the Newsbreak app right now by going to chatsports.com/newsbreak. Let's get to the NBA playoff picture now. NBA regular season, the end of it inching closer and closer. Can you believe it? Time has just flown by so quickly. NBA regular season is going to wrap up on May 16th. And the NBA playoff format this year, very similar to how things shook out last year in the NBA bubble. The top 6 teams in each conference automatically make the playoffs, and the 7 through 10 seeds will qualify for a play-in tournament that starts on May 18th and wraps up on May 21st with the NBA playoffs starting on May 22nd. Let's break it down for you and kind of just pass along how this is going to work out with that NBA play-in tournament. So the number 7 and 8 seeds will play against one another. The winner of that game is then the number 7 seed. The loser of that matchup then plays the winner of the 9-10 matchup. That other game, hey, it's a matchup between the number 9 and number 10 seed. The winner plays the 7-8 loser, and the loser of the 9-10 matchup is eliminated from the play-in tournament as well as NBA playoff contention. As things are looking in the Eastern Conference right now, Sixers, they own the tiebreaker with the Brooklyn Nets. They have the same record at 39-20. The Sixers are in first place in the Eastern Conference. They would play the number 8 seed. And that 4-5 matchup actually just happened the other night at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. The Knicks and Hawks, 2 young, excelling, rising teams. That could be a really fun matchup. And then the 3-6 matchup, another intriguing one. If the season were to end today, as we record this on April 23rd, Bucks and Celtics in that 3-6 matchup, and the Nets would play the play-in to-be-determined team at that 7 spot. Other matchups to get to here in the Eastern Conference, Heat and Hornets would be the 7-8 matchup. Slated in that 9-10 matchup, the Pacers and the Wizards. The Wizards with Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook climbing slowly up the Eastern Conference. They've sneakily been really good over the last couple of weeks, led by Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. If they get in, they are the ultimate make some noise play-in team and the ultimate NBA League Pass team. Like, if the Wizards are in the play-in tournament, I certainly want to watch it. Let's shift over to the Western Conference. The Utah Jazz, even without Donovan Mitchell, still holding on and clinging to the number 1 seed. They'd play the number 8 seed. Nuggets, Lakers as a 4-5 matchup. Nuggets 4-0 without Jamal Murray, who's out for the year because of that torn ACL. If LeBron and AD either aren't 100% or are out of the lineup, could we see an upset there? Possibly, but I think if the Lakers are healthy, they're certainly going to win that series. Clippers, Blazers in the 3-6 spot. Could Damian Lillard overtake and oust Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? The Clippers are a team that have had just so many choke artist-like games in the playoffs. They could be outed by a team like the Portland Trailblazers because Dame time and playoff time, very dangerous. And then the Phoenix Suns Right on the heels of the Utah Jazz at number 2 in the Western Conference. They will also play that play-in to be determined team in that 7 spot. And then let's round things out with the Mavericks and the Grizzlies in that play-in game at the 7-8 spot, and the Warriors and Spurs checking in at 9th and 10th place in the Western Conference. So that's how everything kind of stands with the playoff picture in the Eastern and Western Conference. As far as the playoff standings and Eastern Conference standings right now, this might be a little bit more visual for you. The 1 through 5 teams, Sixers in at first place, followed by the Nets, the Bucks, the Knicks, and the Hawks. And the Boston Celtics have dropped to the 6th spot at 32 and 27, followed by the struggling Miami Heat, the struggling Charlotte Hornets, the Indiana Pacers, and the Washington Wizards. Pivoting over to the Western Conference, the Jazz with a 2-game lead in the win column over the Phoenix Suns at 44 and 15. The Clippers in at 3rd place, followed by the Nuggets and the Lakers. Little bit of a gap there between the Nuggets with 38 wins and the Lakers at 35 wins, as well as the Lakers in the 5 spot to the Trailblazers in the 6th spot. About a 3-game difference there in the win column between those two teams. And then the rest of the Western Conference as follows: Mavericks, Grizzlies, Spurs, and Warriors. I'll tell you what, with the NBA playoffs less than a month away, really excited to see how everything shakes out with this NBA playoff picture, because there are a lot of teams who are going to jockey in different spots throughout the Eastern and the Western Conference. A lot to be decided, and you already know that we are going to be covering it ad nauseum here at Chat Sports, bringing you all of the latest across the NBA. So as Jeremy kind of gets ready to, shake things up a little bit as we continue to advance on NBA Now, there's a look at the Western Conference playoff standings right now. Appreciate all of you for watching us here on NBA Now by Chat Sports.